Alrighty friends, welcome back to our In the Field series, and just visiting a neighboring state today. It is sharptail season in this particular state, so hopefully find a couple of those. Came in this area like 4 years ago, got a tip from a rancher that was pushing cows through here that he'd seen a bunch of sharptails, so we came up and it was loaded at the time, but you know, 3-year-old news is very old news in the hunting world. So anyways, but we know there's the potential for birds here, great blend of habitat for some chukar and huns as well. So we're gonna go burning some boot leather. Got Chief and Goose with me today. Hopefully we have an awesome time. Appreciate you tuning in to watch, and hopefully it's worth your time. Let's go get after it. A lot of people would probably look at this and it's not traditional sharptail habitat from like going to the Dakotas or Montana or something like that. We're hunting kind of sagebrush pockets, but there's a lot more of this down in the bottom, but it's some type of service berry, I think. And these sharptail just absolutely love these. And so they will get in here and grub on this, and that's kind of their primary food source. So we're hunting some public that is kind of near the perimeter of what is kind of CRP grassland stuff, cattle grazing stuff. So the goal is to get up here, get elevation, hopefully get the wind, and kind of work our way through here. It's kind of weird sometimes to see the sharptail on the sagebrush, but that's where we find them. That's why we are here today. So anyways, something to look for if you're hunting in more of the desert areas. Focus on these types of service berries and you'll probably find some birds. Well, it is oddly warm for a mid-October day, and there is basically no wind. Kind of hiked up through where historically we've seen birds, like I mentioned. Well, only hunted at one time, saw birds. That doesn't mean they're here every time, but went through some really good country, some great habitat, and between not seeing sharpies, huns, chukar, anything like that, we're just gonna kind of loop back, save a little bit of dog power. There's plenty of other spots when it's warm like this. I try to plan kind of loops if I can. If an area is good, I'll loop back to the truck and then I'll go do another loop in the same area. But we're gonna kind of work back into what little wind is actually coming and moving right now, and probably go try a different spot. But hey, you never know, we're not back at the truck. It happens fast sometimes, so see what happens. Well, that was a interesting find. That the dogs were kind of just running down this fence line, winds coming from their left, and I watched Chief kind of get close to the rise, and he kind of stopped, and he was wagging his tail, and then he just stopped, but he like didn't intensify, like nothing. And then my Garmin went off, and I got a notification that Goose was on point. I was like, oh, he must be backing. So I hike up there and I get to him. Well, Goose is 90 yards down the ridge, and I can't see him. And so I'm trying to figure out what the heck's going on, and I step up, and just a pair of Huns jump, knock the one down. They gave me the old curveball. It was, I don't know how I hit it, but I did. And then I shot, and when I shot, Goose broke down the ridge, and there were like 10 more Huns down there. So kind of is what it is. It is very warm. The dogs are having a hard time, so I can appreciate the fact that they both had finds on individual groups of birds in this heat. But man, it has been a very slow day. I had to bet you my house that we would have seen ample birds and had a lot more opportunities than we have had, but sometimes that's how it goes, and it makes you appreciate what you get. But we're going to keep walking, see if we can scratch out our sharptail. Only takes two, so only need one covey if I shoot good, and we should be back in business. But yeah, fun little find, interesting nonetheless, but glad we got a bird in the bag. Well, as you probably just saw in the edit, I pulled a double whipperoni. Actually clipped the first bird not very good, hit the second one really good, and figured it was a dead bird, and it was all the way on top of there, and could not find that bird. We've looked for the past 20 minutes or so to no avail, and that was my hero moment. But we have walked all stinking day. Garrett and I were just laughing that we just hadn't even had any bird contacts, and that find was beautiful. Looked at the dogs, and I looked over, and you know, no excuses, but man, the sun was right there. But I mean, they were at my feet just floating. I didn't make good shots. So that is the nature of it sometimes, and I feel like it's important to show that. That's part of hunting sometimes. Not everybody shoots 100%, myself especially. So, but overall, bummed that that was the end to today's hunt, but also grateful that we stuck with it and created an opportunity at the end. This is an area that I've spent a lot of time in my my time of upland hunting, and it is the least amount of birds that I have ever seen, which is very unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's always boot leather that gets it done, and we did that. We put in the effort, and I'm proud of that, proud of the pups. They had a big day. I don't know how many miles, but probably close to 30 to 40, I would imagine. We did 3 different walks. So anyways, it's gonna get dark. We're gonna have to get the headlamps out to make it back to the truck, but awesome day. Appreciate you guys watching. We like to keep it real, so hopefully this was entertaining enough. As always, please make sure you guys subscribe. Yeah, we appreciate the heck out of you. Thank you so much. Take care.